like to call the Community Facilities District meeting to order for November 13th, 2023. This is a joint meeting of the following Community Facilities District: Community Facilities District General District Number 1, Palm Valley Community Facilities District Number 3, Community Facilities District Utilities District Number 1, Wildflower Ranch Community Facilities District, Wildflower Ranch Community Facilities District Number 2, Cottonflower Community Facilities District, Estrella Mountain Ranch Community Facilities District, Ranch Community Facilities District, Centerra Community Facilities District, Cortina Community Facilities District. City Clerk on the roll.
Let the record reflect that all members are present.
Thank you. So everybody here, we're going to go ahead. Now it's time for citizens who would like to address the CFD board on any non-agenda items. Do we have anybody in the audience? Seeing none, well, then you're up. Go ahead. District Clerk, please read the consent agenda items, 1 and 2 by title only.
Number 1, approval of minutes. Number 2, approve and authorize the consent to assignment of King Ranch agreements.
Thank you. Does anybody on the board wish to remove any items? Can I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agendas, item 1 and 2?
So moved. Second.
Voice vote, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Public hearing is to consider approving a feasibility report relating to the issuance of bonds. I'm going to open the public hearing. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Chair Pizzullo, members of the board. My name is Jared Askelson, Deputy Finance Director with the City of Goodyear. Tonight we're meeting on the issuance of some debt in the Estrella Mountain Ranch Community Facilities District. CFDs, as we often call them, are formed for three main purposes. Well, it's to construct and acquire infrastructure is why they are formed. They issue bonds to pay for that infrastructure, which is what we are talking about tonight, and then levies a property tax to pay for those bonds. We're specifically talking about Estrella Mountain Ranch. The CFD was formed in 1999. It's the largest in the city at almost 10,000 acres. It issued debt in 2000, in 2005, and 2007, and it has a rate maximum of a combined $1.30, 30 cents for operations and maintenance, and $1 for debt. You'll notice that we haven't issued any debt since 2007. The reason why is because valuations declined with the housing market back in the late 2000s. When it declined below the rate maximum, we could not issue any additional debt because the rate maximum set in the amount that we could levy. There's a backstop agreement that the developer would pay for any difference if it falls below that amount. So for the last 16 years, we haven't been able to issue debt. About 5 years ago, the developer ceased to have to backstop the debt that we were paying, and now we are actually able to issue additional debt. The projects, you'll notice, are pretty dated as well. So completed in March of 2010, Willis Road, a total of $7.5 million. The Cotton Lane Bridge, the total reimbursable amount is $8 million. However, with that $1.30 rate threshold that we have, we can only reimburse about $3.5 million with this issue. The financing plan as it sits today, you'll notice the feasibility study said not to exceed amount of $15.5 million. However, with the current interest rate environment that we have, we can only acquire about $11 million worth of infrastructure. We have $250,000 of cost of issuance and underwriting, and then bond insurance. Because the CFD bond it's a smaller district, we issue bond insurance. Also because of the rate environment with a higher rate, we actually have a cost-benefit analysis that's done, and in this case, it makes sense for us to issue bond insurance, a total of just under $11.5 million. We will be getting $11.2 million in bond proceeds, and then the underwriting costs and costs of issuances will be paid by the developer, the $257,000. So we'll be doing this public hearing on the feasibility report. We'll follow that with action on the feasibility report. Then we have another separate item for authorizing the bond. So this presentation that I'm giving you now serves for this second item as well. And with that, I'll turn it over to conduct the public hearing or any questions.
Thank you. Any speaker cards?
No, Chair.
Anybody in the audience would like to speak? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Will the district clerk Please read Resolution EMR-CFD, Resolution 2023-160 by title only.
Adopt EMR CFD Resolution 2023-160, approving the feasibility report relating to the acquisition and financing of certain improvements benefiting the district, and declaring its preliminary intention to issue not to exceed $15,500,000 general obligation bonds to finance the acquisition of certain improvements as described in the feasibility report relating to such improvements pursuant to the provisions of Title 48, Chapter 4, Article 6, Arizona Revised Statutes, and all amendments thereto.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second to approve EMR-CFD, Resolution 2023-160? Second. Did you get it? Who was the second? Brandon, second. Okay. Open for discussion. Go ahead.
What happens if we don't do this?
Thank you, Chair. Board Member Stipp, if we don't, we won't issue the debt, is what we won't be reimbursing the developer for infrastructure that was put in place about a dozen years ago. We do actually have an agreement in place that they will be reimbursed for the Cotton Lane Bridge. So we would probably have to do that issuance at least. Barring that, we would actually have to decrease the property tax rate.
And that property tax rate increase will be for the entire city, not just the CFD.
No, the property tax would just be, for that reimbursement potentially. If we could use any other source to do that, we likely wouldn't issue debt to do that reimbursement then.
Trying to get to the general concept of, we kind of have an obligation to do this, not by choice.
Correct.
Probably should ask that question instead. Thanks.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know when people hear this, I think it's, thank you, Bill, for kind of setting out what this is actually for, because I think a lot of people are going to think this is for new, different debt. I just have two questions for the structure. In Australia, we have lots of different CFDs in different neighborhoods. This one would be for all the property there, correct?
That is correct. So I think you're referring to the special assessments that
Yeah.
we have in there as well. Those are usually in the individual neighborhoods for infrastructure for those neighborhoods. This is a general obligation over the whole district. And we really haven't done it in 16 years because of that rate maximum, but it's across the entire district, correct?
And this is paid through the property tax. It's not like people have to write another check or another special assessment, correct?
That is correct.
And then my last question is, this is a different reimbursement with a different developer than what we were talking about, the Cotton Lane Bridge before, correct?
The developer that's being reimbursed is different than the developer that actually put the infrastructure in 13 years ago. It is a different developer, yes.
Okay, but this is different than the King's Ranch where they were going to pay us back, because that would have been although they're owned by the same people now, that would be somebody different, right? That's a different accounting.
That is correct. That is correct. This is actually for the Cotton Lane Bridge that was constructed way back in 2008.
Okay, yeah, I just want people to get confused when we've heard about the Cotton Lane Bridge being reimbursed to the city, and now we're saying we're reimbursing the developer. So I'm not sure if there's a better way to clarify that, but I understand and I appreciate you coming forward with this.
Anything else? All right, we got the discussion. Did you have some? No? All right, let's go ahead, open up for vote. Well, let's see, open board discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, aye? What? It's got, no, it's voice now, okay? And yes, so, okay, good, thank you. I remind the board to wait until there is a motion on the table for asking any questions. Business item is to consider authorizing necessary action for the issuance of the bonds, okay? Again, go ahead and introduce yourself to the public.
Thank you. I'm Deputy City Manager, or Deputy City Manager. Give myself a promotion.
We just got, he just
Is that
got,
how that works?
Back there, Sam.
just got promoted, okay.
One more, yeah.
That's true. I'm only the Deputy Finance
Director.
Director here with the City of Goodyear, Jared Askelson, and this is the second item, goes along with the presentation that I just gave.
All right, thank you. Any speaker cards?
No, Chair.
All right, anybody in the audience like to speak on this item? Seeing none, would the district clerk please read Resolution EMR CFD Res 23-161 by title only?
Adopt Resolution EMR CFD Resolution 2023-161, authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of its general obligation bond Series 2023 in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $15,500,000, approving the form and authorizing the execution and delivery of an indenture of trust and security agreement, a bond purchase agreement relating to the bonds, a standby contribution agreement, a continuing disclosure undertaking, and certain other documents securing the payment of the bonds, awarding the bonds to the purchaser thereof, ratifying and approving the form of a preliminary official statement relating to the bonds, authorizing the preparation of a final official statement relating to the bonds, authorizing the levying of an ad valorem tax on taxable property in the district for the payment of the bonds, and ratifying all actions taken or to be taken to further this resolution.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to adopt Resolution EMR CFD Res 2023-161? All right, who we got? Who's the first?
Thank you.
Who's the first? Huh? Over here. First one, Vice Mayor, and second?
Thank you.
Okay, we good? All right, with that discussion, anybody want to add anything else? We all good? Let's go ahead and vote. Voice vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No opposed. Let's see, does anyone on the board have any comments, commendations, or reports pertaining to Community Facilities District? Seeing none, no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Now we roll right into the next one?